Today we're going to be discussing something that every downsizer needs to know about: staging your home so it sells quickly for top dollar. If you've been living in your home for 10, 20, even 30 plus years, this video is for you because I know that there has been a lot of life lived within those walls. Welcome back to At Home with Jody. I'm Jody Whitehurst, a licensed real estate broker in Apex, North Carolina, helping empty nesters, downsizers, and more with all of their real estate needs in the entire greater Raleigh area. If you're thinking of selling or buying a home in Raleigh, please reach out. I'd love to chat. My contact information is at the end of this video and in the description below. And please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button to be notified when I put up future videos just like this one. Since I have my listings staged on a regular basis, I couldn't think of a better person to bring in to have this conversation with me than Bobbie McGrath with Successful Staging here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Bobbie is a nationally recognized expert who has staged more than 10,000 homes and helped more than 10,000 sellers make their home the best version that it can be. So welcome, Bobbie. This is a totally different format than I usually do, so let me know how you like this kind of interview aspect of it. I'm excited to have this conversation with Bobbie. Let's talk about the ins and outs of staging and why it's important.
Okay, so I'm going to go right down into what I think is the most important thing to think about. Staging is not about making a house look perfect. It's about making it marketable. And it's savvy agents like you, Jody, who get that. Because listen, everybody has a time frame and a budget. And time frame may be that you can't make everything perfect, or the budget, many times the budget's not there to do those types of things. So what we're looking to do is based on the client's time frame and budget. What can we do to highlight the fixed assets of the house in such a way that it shines through in those marketing photos? I like to say staging should create compelling marketing photos where they feel compelled to call you, Jody, to come in and see this house.
So we talked a little bit about why staging matters. Why does it matter especially for downsizers and empty nesters? Is it because of the time frame that they've lived in the house?
Here's the thing. Every single wall, every square inch of floor in that house is holding a memory. And it is difficult to separate from those memories, especially if you've lived there a long time. There have been so many family Thanksgivings, Christmases, New Year's, so-and-so had a baby, and then, Uncle Chris came back from the war. I mean, there's all these things that go on between those four walls. When you start going through that, you start reliving those memories.
How do you decide what to keep and what's clutter if you feel emotionally attached to everything?
So I love that you use the C word. I don't say that word, clutter.
Mm-hmm.
I call those non-income producing items.
Okay.
So instead, what we do is we look through, and my job as a stager is to make sure that each and every room has an identity and that it's going to photograph well. And there's a formula to the photographing well. It's like with the picture here, you want to make sure you have a strong left margin, a strong right margin, and then open foreground.
Why is it important to photograph well?
Because
can I just take them with my own phone?
I got to tell you, you know what? This drives
I never do this, by the way. I always hire a professional.
Jody's great about it, but I'm still surprised when I see the quick camera phone being used to, here's $1 million house. I don't care if it's an $85,000 house and it's being shot. It's like, that makes no sense to me, because the photos are the first walkthrough. It used to be what would happen is the agent would pull, the 12 houses that fit what you were asking for. And then you'd go quickly look at all 12 and you would narrow it down to like your top 5. And then you go look at them again. And then you might go back and forth between the last 2. The way it works now, the first walkthrough of the house are your marketing photos. And so you want them to be as strong as possible. When people look at that, you want them to notice those beautiful hardwood floors. You want them to notice that beautiful view out into the backyard. You want them to notice that according to the write-up here, that's only a 10 by 10 bedroom, but you know what, that can work. Look how that's set up. Okay, that could work for us. The marketing photos are the first walkthrough. And here's the thing, the agents who take the time to properly prepare for those photographs set everyone ahead in marketing. People sit down and they put in, I need this size, this many bedrooms, this, so many square feet, and this price. Enter. Harvard Business School did a study, and it's their price primacy. And so here's the deal, okay? If you present a product and you just say, let's say a car. So here's a car. Okay, so do you like this car, Jody?
I do. It's
So,
lovely.
so you look at it. Do I like it? And you're looking at it, and you think, "Dang, I'd look good in that car." And then I say it's $85,000. Well, you're going to be going, "How can I make this work?" So it's more than I wanted, but maybe. Okay, but here's the deal. In any product, if you say, "Jody, I'm going to show you an $85,000 car," a different part of your brain lights up when you look at that same car. And you're looking at it, and the main question is it worth it? So in real estate, we lead with price. So if you understand that, understand another part of this, okay? The do I like it is the emotional center of the brain, and the is it worth it is the logical part. Guess which brain makes the decision?
So it's sounding like you're taking this from an emotional home to a product that you're selling.
You have to. And the whole thing too is that if when people, okay, so they're looking at the photos, right? Their logical brain is looking because they know how much it costs. So now those pictures become so important because logic, is it worth it? The answer is yes, because they've looked at the photos, they've looked at the price, and as their logical mind, they're thinking, yeah, okay, so that's worth it. It's also worth my time to go see.
So if you have two homes in a
Yes.
community that are very similar,
Yes.
and one seller, it's just not worth the aggravation, the hassle of staging their home. They just want to sell it how it is. And their next door neighbor decides to stage it. How does that look in the eyes of the buyers?
Well, I actually had this happen a few years back. The houses were across the street from each other, and their facade was a little different, but the floor plan was exactly the same. The house across the street had not been staged, and it had been priced where my homeowner was thinking, oh yeah, that's the right price, and so did their agent. But they'd already had 2 price drops. And so he was thinking, am I gonna have to, go because of them? Am I gonna have to price the lower price? His agent, the agent that I was working with, said, no, your house is worth every single penny, and staged it, took the great photos of it, put it out into the market. It sold in 2 weeks. And this was not during COVID time. This was before COVID. We had more even market, and this house, same floor plan, same neighborhood, same street. Only difference was the facade and the way that it was presented. And it's not that often that I get that apple to apples, comparison. So when you put in that extra step, that's what's so important. And understand, the more the eye stops in a space, the smaller it appears. Most of the time, I'm editing out things because I need to showcase how large the space really is.
So why even stage? Why not have it completely empty?
Great question, because this is what's fascinating, okay? Now, I really get into this stuff, so guys, forgive me, but here's the deal. This is the way the brain works. When you walk into a space that's empty, your eye naturally goes to the negatives, the negative things, to the problems.
So you can see like a little flaw in the floor.
It's like, the carpet, let's say you had your carpets cleaned last year, and the little plastic came out from underneath the leg, and now you have that little copper spot on your carpet. It could be pristine. The minute they walk in that room, their eye goes right there. The thing is, when it's empty, the brain naturally seeks out the problems. It just naturally does. It's actually self-preservation mode. When you walk into something, what's wrong, so you can protect yourself from it. And that gets applied to when they're looking at a house. There's a story in the room. It gives the eye something else to look at. And again, it's the emotional part of the brain that makes the decision on whether or not to buy the house. So they have now decided that it's worth their time. That's their logical brain. They walk through that front door, and their do I like it brain shows up for the tour.
Well, and I'll add this emotionally, that when I'm showing buyers homes, when they walk into an empty home, it feels cold and empty, and they can't picture how their life would be in it. Even if it's a different layout or different furniture style than they might use, they can at least have an idea of, oh, this is how it might be set up. And this feels like a cozy room. And when it's empty and you hear the echoes off of the hardwoods, hello, it's just cold and impersonal.
It's true, Jody. And I love it when I get to talk to agents who bring buyers through, because buyers will say those things to you. Oh my gosh, this sounds like we're in a crypt. It's like, and it's like, again, most people don't have the imagination to put their furniture into a house. Staging should create an identity for the space, because without an identity, there's no value. And a lot of times, especially like inside the Beltline, I'll get into some of those charming little 1920s bungalows downtown. I love doing those, love those. And so many times what they've done is they've converted like a little side porch or something into a room. Well, it's only about 5 feet wide, and then it's maybe 20 feet long. And what do they use it for? To store their bicycles, because they bike around. That's not going to help it sell, but I need to come in and look around and boom, turn that into an office and make it a workable office. And so those are the things that a good staging does, instead of just being, oh, that's just, glorified bike rack, and turn it into potentially an office. How do you do that?
So it's more than just putting out fake plants and hanging a picture. So you have to create an identity for each room?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And you want to suggest lifestyle. So for instance, I was just sharing the story about the charming little 1920s place. The thing is, part of the money, I say, of that area is that people are out biking all the time. So what I did was I made sure we still honored the idea of having a bike, that they could use that side porch for bike storage, but also that it could be a desk, it could be an office. So
give them possibilities.
Give them the possibilities, because otherwise it's just this long, narrow room. What am I going to do with this? And now they're going, oh, honey, this could be great. You just want an office and they're in the house, or this big great place.
Look
for
at all the
kids.
windows. It's natural light.
Exactly. And hey, the bike could come in and out. This is great. So I remembered we used a lime green, cute little Schwinn bicycle inside the house on one end, and we put this small desk on the other side. It turned out darling. And again, it gave it value.
Let's talk about homes that are currently being lived in.
Okay.
So they have their own furniture,
Yes.
whether it's gorgeous or dated, kind of irrelevant. Should they get rid of what they have and either buy all new to stage, or should they hire a staging company to bring in furniture? What is going to give them the best return on their investment?
What I would say is always start with a consultation, because unless and until a stager gets in there and brings that staging eye to the project, you really don't know. And one of the things I never want to do is to cause someone to go out and spend a lot of money, especially as they're looking to buy on the other side, because that messes with their ratios, right? When they start buying all this stuff, it increases their credit usage. So it's good to get in there and let them look, because a stager, I can go in, there's been so many times where someone has said to me, there's just no way we can use what they have. There's just no way whatsoever. And I get in there and I see it differently. And I'm able to take the sofa from this room and the chair they've got upstairs in the baby's room.
She always calls it shopping.
Yes,
shopping in
it
your
is.
house.
It is shopping. It's like, poof, your house is now a shopping center. I go through and pull those items, and I can create a cohesive story so many times. Another option too is that we could, in some cases, rent furniture if that's needed. Did you know that sometimes an empty room is better than a sparsely done room? There have been times I have taken furniture from like a secondary bedroom to use in what I call the money rooms. And in the end, what we do is we keep it empty. If we this is how we used to do staging 21 years ago when I started. A little room, you'd put a chair and a floor lamp and a big plant and then an Afghan, and poof, it was staged, right? So no, we don't do that anymore. Secondary bedrooms don't matter as much to the sale. There's 5 money rooms, and this was a study done by Old Dominion University. Do you know what the most important photo is of all of your marketing photos with the house? It's the front exterior.
Oh, the facade of the
Yeah,
house. Okay.
because I always call that the dating site, the dating picture. If they don't like what they see there, they're not gonna sweep right. So that's the most important photo. But what's fascinating are those pictures. If I can get the exterior, the kitchen, the primary suite, the living space, whether the main space is the family room or the living room, and then the backyard. So those are your 5 money spaces, okay? So when I look at that, then like the second one, this is me talking from all these years of experience, then my next level may be that I would want to do maybe the bonus room. If they only have a living room on the main floor, then maybe that bonus room takes time, so we have something up there. But if you get those 5 rooms done, you can get some great shots, and then Then remember earlier when I was saying it's important if you have an empty room that it be perfect. That's when you get as close to perfect as possible as you can.
And you could potentially virtually stage just a couple of rooms, like a bonus space upstairs, if you want to show it as a gym or show it as a...
So this is what I'm glad you brought up the whole virtual staging, because now what's happening is that many times people are doing the virtual staging and it looks great. It'll get people through the door. But remember what brain shows up when the main place is virtually staged. People come in, and again, it's that echo.
Well, and they can't remember. They're going, having to go back to the phone.
And that's another thing too, is that the way the brain works is that when it's they're looking at the photos, and they've reached out to you and they know that they're going to come to a certain house, right? And so they've looked at the photos, they've sent the pictures to their mom and dad, they've shared them with their friends, they've talked to each other about them. And so they've looked at these photos 50 times. So when they walk through the front door, here's the gold of a great photograph that represents what's inside. When they come in, it feels familiar. And what does familiar do when you're looking for a home? It helps you pull it together, and there's an ownership to it.
So say that my seller has lived in the house for years, and they love the color pink.
Okay.
Their walls in the entire house are different shades of pink. The carpet is pink. Let's talk about what will be the most appealing to a buyer before you put it on the market. What would be worth replacing and updating to appeal to buyers, and why?
First of all, I think it's fabulous that you picked the color pink, because studies have shown the color that gets the biggest pushback is pink.
Okay.
So
sorry for all of my pink lovers.
So
it's a lovely color.
So here's the thing. When I come in and I'm providing those consultations, I need to meet the client where they are. So first of all, we're going to discuss why it would be in their best interest to consider painting, to consider replacing the carpet, to consider all these things. Over time, every house gets what I call the timestamp on it. And that's okay. But to actually draw the current buyers in to your house, if you've been in your house 20 years, chances are there's a timestamp on the paint color. There's a timestamp on the light fixtures. Now, I always say, I'm always going to tell you, Mr. or Miss Client, in my perfect world, this is what I'd like to see. If there's anything you can't do, won't do, not sure you're going to do, let me know, because it's my job to come up with a workaround. But here's another thing too. I'm going to tell you everything, but then I'm going to prioritize. You know how I do my top 10 list? I'm going to say, listen, if you do nothing else, do number 1. So let's say we're talking about the house where everything's painted pink. What I would do is, it would be great if they would paint everything, not pink, right? And I would select a color for them too. I don't leave them hanging, but we'd select a color. But I would also look at what spaces to not paint. So like those secondary bedrooms and things, that's a weekend paint party for the new buyers, okay? But the 2-story foyer and the 2-story family room, those rooms, let's get a color that actually works in concert with that pink toned carpet. Let's see what color we can put on the wall that will downplay the pink, because a lot of times when you put 2 colors next to each other, they'll pull the undertones out. I had a house where everybody knows that color, agreeable gray, okay? So I went in, and when I went for the consultation, the gentleman opened up the front door and his house was purple. All his walls were purple, and he had yellow trim and cabinets and everything everywhere. Come to find out, he was colorblind. And 20 years ago, his wife had passed away like a year ago, and so 20 years ago, they painted everything trim white, but they painted it in an oil-based paint. Which yellowed over time. When he brought in the painter, he told the painter, match the trim color. And the painter didn't tell him it's yellow. Maybe the painter was colorblind, I don't know. And then unfortunately—
Not a good quality in a painter.
Really. And then unfortunately, somebody told him agreeable gray was the it color. Well, agreeable gray has purple undertones to it.
Go ECU colors.
Yeah, that's right. ECU. We spent a lot of money. We spent our son there.
ECU, yeah, it's the purple and yellow,
Yeah.
the colors.
And so I should have said, all ECU fans come by this house. And so I went in, I didn't mention anything about the paint at all because he had already told me on the phone that he'd spent like $17,000 painting everything, all the walls, every trim, all the cabinets, everything was yellow and purple.
This is why a consultation is really important. Don't just guess.
Yes, don't just guess because oh, God love him. And so he told me, and at the end, after I earned a little street cred with him, I said, I need to talk to you about something that you're not going to want to hear. And he said, well, what's that? And I said, I want to talk to you about paint because I told you I've already done it. And I said, well, let me explain something to you. And as I did, he looked and I said, now, many men are, so don't be offended that I'm asking you this question. And he said, what's that? I said, do you by chance, are you colorblind? And he goes, well, yes. He says, but I said paint it the same color. It's a beautiful white. My wife loved it. So in the end, the gentleman did not paint. And the feedback he got over and over again was the paint. We got to paint the whole house. And so that's why I say, before you get rid of any furniture, before you get rid of anything, have that consultation. Because right now, a lot of folks, especially older folks, they have like a great turntable with, albums from the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, and they're going to just get rid of it all. Don't. Using things like that right now in this market,
Make it personal,
feeds these younger people. They're looking at those things, right? And I wouldn't know this stuff except I'm out in the world of staging and I know this stuff. So don't get rid of anything. Don't invest in new carpet and new paint and fixtures and everything until you get some professional guidance, because it can make all the difference in the world. And another thing is I can make a dollar squeak. I know where to buy those light fixtures. I know where to get great deals on carpet. I work with agents, same thing. I know Jody's got her connections too. So it's really vitally important. I just encourage people, please, 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 before you do anything, don't pack anything away, get that consultation.
Well, and I'll say that I've had several clients who, they loved their home. Obviously, they've made it a home over the years.
Sure.
And they almost took offense to the concept of neutralizing the home. But going back to, it's no longer your home when you put it on the market, it's a product. Mm-hmm. By painting walls neutral colors, by having neutral furniture, it may seem boring to you, but you are going to appeal to the masses rather than just looking for a specific buyer who likes your specific color of paint. What are some of the biggest misconceptions that you can talk about for staging?
First off is that everything has to go and you have to empty it and bring all the other stuff in. The other thing is get rid of all of your personal photos. I'm going to tell you right now, sometimes if that's all you have, keep them because we can use the frames and do other things. So keep that in mind. A misconception is that we're going to come in and force you to rent things, and I'm the anti that. So there are us out there in the world. Misconception about staging is that everything has to be perfect. It doesn't.
It just has to appeal emotionally to the buyers.
Yes, it has to get out of the way of showcasing the strengths of the house. And then another misconception about staging is that we're tricking people. If you as a seller or you as an agent ever have a stager who's talking to you about covering something up or that type of thing, get them out of your house. They're not a professional, they're not truly staging, they're not serving you well. The true professional is going to discuss with you how to fix it or how to talk to your agent about it, because it may or may not affect pricing, but that's really important, that staging is a trick. It is not. It is a marketing technique. It's not about making the house look pretty. That's a huge misconception. It's about making it marketable.
Oh, and enticing.
Oh, enticing. I like to say compelling, right? It's compelling. It's where they feel compelled to make an offer.
And we like when buyers are compelled to make an offer on your home.
Exactly. And that's why the photos are so important. We want people, as they're sitting there and they're, swiping, going through their iPad and they're looking at the different listings, I want them to stop short and go, oh, honey, come here, look at this one. That right there, that is an emotional connection right off the bat. You can get that with your photos and you can close it out when they come to see the house.
So what are some of the more common mistakes that you've seen a seller make when they are going to, like whether you've had a consultation or not, like if you have come in after the fact or...
Sure.
You've given them advice and they've ignored it.
Yeah. So I've got some good ones. First one is when you put the sofa straight across from in front of the fireplace. Now, doesn't that sound Bobbie? What are you talking about? Here's the deal. Remember, I was talking earlier about there needing to be a strong left and right margin, and then that open foreground within the photograph. When you put that sofa right here, there's a back. And what you're doing is you're taking a room, which could be, let's say it's 20 by 25. And what you're doing is you're now having the photographer have to step in closer, just made the room smaller. And they have to shoot over the top of the sofa in order to see the fireplace. And so it becomes distorted and you don't get to truly experience the whole space. But if you take that sofa and you swap it out and you put it like to the right of the fireplace and put a couple chairs and you do that in the correct way, that open foreground makes it feel so much larger. And I'm telling you, your competition's not doing that. They keep photographing because, that's the way you're supposed to put it. For living, it's beautiful, it's fine. I love a cozy spot, but what does cozy in real estate mean? Cozy means small. And when you're selling, I don't care, I'm right now working on condos that are 565 square feet and like 600 something square feet. The way we're setting them up, nobody believes they're that small. And it's because we understand how to set the furniture up.
Maximize the space.
Maximize. So that's a pet peeve. Also lighting. Oh my gosh, get me started. When you do lighting, the light bulbs need to be the same color. And people don't understand when I'm talking about color. They're called kelvins. So when you look, you're going to find on the light bulb, it'll have a number like 3,000 and in parentheses, it'll have K. What you want is light bulbs that are right around 3,000. The lower the number, the more yellow the light. The higher the number, the more blue they are. So I call these Martin Scorsese films, right? It looks like Godfather, right? Everything's yellow. And then over here, I call these morgue lights because they look like that laboratory blue light. So what you want is that 3,000 Kelvin and get all the light bulbs the same color. When you're looking for brightness, I don't care that it says daylight, bright light. No. They're referring to color. When it comes to brightness, you're looking for lumens. 1,250 lumens is about equivalent to the old-fashioned 100-watt light bulb. So if you understood that, have your open foreground in your pictures. Lighting is a huge one for you. And then there's two things. Emptying everything out so the house feels abandoned. So you have the furniture, but all the art's been put away. All the little tchotchkes and things have been packed away. It looks like you've been robbed. There's no emotional connection. Or the flip side, insisting on keeping all the little things everywhere in the room and through the house. I call that room dandruff. That will eat your money, okay? The more the eye stops in a space, the smaller it appears. Oh, gotta talk about it. I know it's gonna be hard to hear. Smells. Haven't you seen beautiful homes, but there's an odor to the house? And it's like, I'm telling you, nothing will kill a deal faster than a smell. So there's definitely things. I've got a company that I utilize to come in and to do that, in a house. If you have heavy cooking odors, pet odors, there's cigarette odors, those types of things. If you don't take care of that, I don't care how good your house looks. I can stage the tar out of it.
And this is where staging isn't just visual. She's going to very politely tell you that there's also an odor.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. You know what? I love, there's a commercial and they say, you've become nose blind. And we all do.
You get used to it.
You get used to it, and you don't smell it.
My couch smells like a dog, I'm pretty sure.
Well, so here's the thing, but you don't smell it, right?
Right.
And so here's the thing. People, when they are looking to buy their next home, especially in our market, the way things are right now, they're very, very cautious. So whatever we can do to create just a neutral smell. Do not fill the house full of plug-ins everywhere where it smells like linen spring. What is that anyway? And don't keep baking cookies, because then what ends up happening, let's say you love your cats, but you've got a litter box smell in your house. Now you're going to have cookie smelling litter box, right? And so there's a way to neutralize odors to address those things. And it's not always expensive. People seem to think it's going to cost a lot of money. But how much is it going to affect your price?
So I've used Bobbie many times for my staging needs when I list a home, but can you walk us through what your process is? What happens when you are asked to come out to a home for a consultation?
Absolutely. Okay, so when I get there, first thing I'm going to ask you is tell me your story. I want to know what's going on with you. So tell me whatever it is that's on your mind, because once I understand that, I know how to speak with you and I understand what's important to you as well. So anyway, what we'll do is this. We always start, I have you take the notes so that they make sense to you later, okay? And then what we'll do is, with your permission, I'm going to run through the house real quick. It's now poof, it's a shopping center. Remember that. Is I'll run through the house so that I can get an idea of what is it that we have to work with. And I take photos. That's the way I take my notes. So if you have any questions down the road, you can reach out to me. But then we come back down. We always start out at the front, because what's the most important photo? The front exterior, exactly. So we'll start out there, and I'm going to make recommendations. And again, if there's anything you can't do, won't do, not sure you're going to do, let me know. I'm going to give you another option. We're going to walk through the house the way that potentially the buyers would walk through. And I'm going to make recommendations. And I'm always going to say perfect world. I'll come up with other options if you would like me to. But at the end of our time together, I always tell people, be prepared. You're going to be overwhelmed. I'm there to make you money. But I'll sit down and write up what I call my top 10 priority list. And in there, let's say a situation where your whole house is painted pink. So what I would do is the number one thing may be paint, and I will have selected a color. And then what I'm going to do though is I'm going to prioritize within painting. Look, perfect world, the whole thing, but I live in the real world. So in the real world, make sure you do the kitchen, the foyer, and the living room, and the master bedroom. Make sure those are the ones that you get done.
And I will say, I work with companies a lot of times who will defer receiving their payment until closing. So that might be a win-win for everyone, where you give them their homework, they don't have to come out of pocket, but it just gets taken out of their closing proceeds.
Yes, exactly. So that's why you work with an agent like Jody. It's because Jody knows those things. And again, I have a definition of an expert. You're a real estate expert. An expert for me, an expert is someone who knows the things you didn't know you needed to know. And so that's why you call somebody like Jody. And that's the teamwork. That's the camaraderie that I like to work with you and your clients. It's because all three of us put our heads together. You have the grand plan. I'm the one that's putting together your visuals. And then the client is the one who's making the ultimate decision about what they're willing to do and not do. That's how I determine what I do and don't do within the process. But we go through, we do the top 10. Now, sometimes folks are thrilled and they follow and they want to do it all. I give you all the information so you can do it yourself. Then some people do have me come back for what's called a photo prep. And what that is, I'm not bringing stuff in for you to rent for me. And no, what I do is, after you've removed the extra furniture, done the painting, if you're going to do any light fix-ups, that type of thing, I come back right before the photos and I do those final touches and make sure that a lot of times people don't know how to do their shelves. So I'll do that and I'll set everything up. So when the photographer walks through, photographer says, I love it. I walk in and I've always got 2 or 3 shots of each room, because it's part of my job as a stager is to understand how any photographer walks into a real estate shoot and understand it so that I can prepare it so he or she captures the strongest photos possible.
You said that the number one top photo is going to be the exterior of the house.
Absolutely.
What can people do to improve the curb appeal of their house to get it ready for the market and to get ready for photos?
Great question. First of all, sometimes the best thing you can do, I tell you this all the time, paint is money in a can. And if the house needs to be painted and you are going to pull the trigger on that, please, please, please talk to me. Let me select a color for you so that we can update the house. If you're going to spend the money anyway, let's do that. But I also have some tricks of the trade.
Well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
So obviously, I know that interior colors have colors of the year, or they're popular at the time. Do exterior colors follow the same trends?
Just because a color is a color of the year, the month, the hour, the whatever, doesn't mean it's right for your home. And I have seen homes that were beautiful and the wrong color palette was painted onto because it's the latest, greatest color palette, and it has destroyed the value of the house. So it's important.
So the wrong color paint can destroy the value of the house.
It can. Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. Yeah. And there's one thing too. Yellow seems to be the one color that I've seen misused the most. It has to be the right color yellow.
And yellow is so hard to find the right color.
It's
as hard as white.
I mean, it's so difficult. And when we're looking at color, it's really important. You have to take into consideration what's the architecture of the home. Another thing is what's the neighborhood. A lot of times we have HOAs and they have, 6 different color combinations that you can use, and that's it. So if that's the deal, you go to that. However, I would really encourage you, have your homeowners association meet with me, and I will help update their color palette so that it will help lift the price point of your home. So I'm just saying, not all neighborhoods need that. A lot of them do. But color is huge. And another thing though is this. I've seen homes that are painted kind of that Williamsburg blue, and it has the yellow trim, right? It feels like an old house. But guess what? If we just paint that trim white, if that blue paint is in good condition, let's paint the trim white. It looks like the whole place has just been freshly painted. It's just knowing where you need to put the color. Another thing too, for curb appeal, shutters and the front door. They don't have to match. I know that might surprise some of you, but they don't have to match. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll put a classic color on the shutters, and then I'll put what I call a shot of happy color on the front door. Because one of the things we want to do in the photos, as well as when people pull up in front of the house, is to get the eye to go to the front door. It's always about building expectation. We want them to want to get behind that front door. Once they're in the house, we want to frame out the way you see down the hallway and thing with just enough that it gets them intrigued to go down that way.
Well, and if they're already feeling happy and calm standing outside the front door.
Exactly.
That builds the expectation of how they're going to feel when they walk in.
It's so true. Another thing too is that I've had people, they've done one of two things. They either get rid of everything in the yard and trim it all down to little stubs and everything, and it looks half dead. Or they come and put in so many new plantings and everything. It may look nice, but I'm here to tell you, a lot of people out there don't have time for gardening right now. And so if you have all these plants that people are thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna have to keep those alive, that actually can be a detriment. Because what I wanna do is I always wanna get color by the front door. So it may be that we use plants near the front door, flowers, or we may plant some right at the sidewalk that goes up to the front steps. So it's all about drawing attention to that, power washing your driveway, sidewalk, your house if it needs it, and then even the gutter line, where right along the road, you do that, your whole house shines.
And these are not expensive things.
They're
to power
not.
wash your house or your driveway, not expensive, and it can make a huge difference.
It can make a huge difference.
What happens if there's not a lot of time to do this? If they have to move out within, say, 4 months, or they have to at least have it on the market, and they're feeling rather rushed.
Right.
You've told them maybe that the floors should be redone. You've told them that there are certain repairs that stand out that might need to be done, but they're feeling overwhelmed.
Sure.
They're feeling rushed.
Sure.
How do you address that?
First of all, one of the best things you can do is give yourself the gift of time. As you're downsizing and you're going through literally everything you own, it
30
is
years
a lot.
of accumulation is a lot. It's a lot to deal with, and it gets emotional.
I mean, it does. And so what I'm always looking at is give yourself the gift of time. And also, if you can, have friends and family come up alongside you and help you. And then if you happen to be in the financial situation where maybe a professional coming up alongside you to help you go through these things, there are companies that do that. And they're very compassionate. They understand. They have worked with downsizers in the past, and they get it. So realize you don't have to do it alone. You really don't have to do it alone. And as you're going through, I really encourage you, be looking at things and start thinking about really what are the pieces I want to keep? What are my heart pieces? And keep them. Please don't get rid of them. Keep them.
And like Bobbie said, if you have the ability to give yourself the gift of time, start thinking about this 2 years before you even, like when you have just the seed of, I might need to downsize, I can't handle these stairs as well anymore, or this house is too big for me. Start then. Start working on purging and gifting and all of these things, so that you're not leaving it to the last minute right before you want to list the house.
And also consider an estate sale. There are companies that specifically will do estate sales. And there are some where it's at your house, and there's others where they actually take the things out of the house and they take it to their warehouse. There's a lot of online estate sales now as well. So there's options for you. Also, reach out to your family and just see, friends and family, if there's items maybe that they would like to have. It's like it's an opportunity. Instead of thinking I have to give these things up, why not? I need to let them go on to the next, to the next person who would love it. And like I said, I'm starting to go through the process. We're looking to downsize, so I'm getting this. And I'm listening to myself thinking, okay, Bobbie, you're drinking, you need to drink the Kool-Aid and go through the process like everybody else.
I will say though, don't get your feelings hurt or mentally prepare yourself that tastes change and children and grandchildren have their own tastes. So if they don't want your porcelain cat collection or your commemorative plate of each state collection, don't be hurt.
Yeah, it's really funny. Don't be hurt. And hey, in the world today, you can put things up on Marketplace or stuff because there may be somebody who wants your cat collection plate or you just never know. The world is really open that way, and there are opportunities. And don't be afraid to ask. Now, Jody, this is her jive. This is what she loves. She loves to work with downsizers. So she has tools for you that would help you go through the process. So those are the things I really want you to
Bobbie
think.
is one of my tools. She's in my toolkit.
There you go. There you go. The whole process, the gift of time is always on your side. And when push comes to shove, understand there are services out there that can help you.
So let's talk about the payoff.
Okay.
In a perfect world,
Sure.
Everyone does exactly what you recommend.
Okay.
What can they see for the return on their investment?
Well, in the perfect world, what ends up happening is, first of all, when those photos are released, the agent immediately starts getting calls. Okay. Then we get those people through the house, and then we're looking for those multiple offers. Houses do sell faster. They just do, because in any market, even the market where it took forever and buyers were looking at, 20, 30 houses because they wanted to, and
Well, and in this particular market, that's slowed down a lot.
Yes.
And the average days on market, homes are sitting much longer.
Yeah.
When people walk into several different homes, and some have not taken your advice,
Yeah.
and some haven't staged, some have, they're going to go with the ones that appear the most move-in ready.
And here's the thing, it's that fear of missing out, that FOMO moment, right? It's like, even in this market, when people see online something that looks great and the photos are true photos, when they walk into the house and it looks like it did in the photos, they're thinking, I want to get this one before somebody else does. So that's what's so important about it.
Creating competition.
Yeah, get the
Feel
competition.
a sense of urgency.
Yeah. And so it's exciting to see when the market gets to where it's more of a buyer's market. That's where staging is such a strong asset. Even when it's a seller's market, then you get those multiple offer things going crazy too. Because again, people want what they want. And the whole neuromarketing research is, why is it people pull the trigger on the buy? And one of the reasons people buy homes, no matter what the market is because they need a place to stay. And after they've looked at all the competition and they see yours, they want to grab it because they know they're not going to get the same level at another home.
Well, this has been amazing. Thank you, Bobbie.
Thank you,
Do you want to
Jody.
tell them a little bit about yourself? I just really briefly introduced you.
Oh, sure. Bobbie McGrath, Successful Staging is the name of my company. I've been here in the Raleigh area for the last 21 years. I have staged or consulted on over 10,000 homes. I've worked with hundreds of agents, thousands of sellers. I still get surprised sometimes, but most of the time you can't surprise me too bad. What I really do is I specialize in working with people who are living in their house when it enters the market. We call that occupieds in the business. And I'm always looking at this. It's my job to make sure that you get out into the world with every dime of equity pulled out from every corner of the house. That's my job. It's my job to make you money, and I take it seriously. Whenever I work with Jody, I want you guys to know you've got a great agent here. She gets it, she understands it, and not everybody does that Jody does. So thank you, Jody.
Thank you. And I will put Bobbie's contact information in the description below. So wrapping up,
Okay.
if you could give us the top 3 tips for staging for downsizers.
Okay, top 3, first of all, is start now. If you're looking at 2 years out, this is a great time because it's going to be the process. So start now. The second thing that I would say is get an agent who understands and utilizes to the full extent what staging provides. They're not just saying clean, declutter, and paint everything agreeable gray. You want that extra level.
No more agreeable gray.
No more agreeable gray, yeah. And then third of all, what I'm looking at is, as you're downsizing, don't look at this as losing something. Look at it as setting yourself free. I truly, truly believe that. And look for, those opportunities to let your previous home shine, because think about the new family who will be moving in, the new person who will be moving in, and how excited they can start building their own memories behind those walls like you have all these
You're
years.
giving your legacy to someone else to
That's
live.
nice. Yeah, I like that. It's like there's a feeling that true homes pass on. If you've lived there for a long time, there's that passage, right? But even if, a lot of downsizers too, especially if you're corporate, like my husband and I were, we moved a lot all over the place. And then finally we felt like we were getting settled. But in the back of my mind, I was always thinking, but this is more than I want to take care of. And what I realized, what I want to take care of now are reservations, right? Right? So
flight somewhere, hotel reservations.
So it's just like, it's a freedom. And the more downsizers I've worked with through the year, it's been interesting. I've seen the ones who approach it from a sad perspective, and my heart really hurts for them. But I've seen those who they go through the process and they think, wait a minute, when they start looking forward.
It can be a little bit of both. You can be sentimental about leaving your home that you've been in for years, but it can also be exciting. It can be really exciting, your next chapter, and freeing.
It's true. And Jody, I'll lead you there. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Bobbie. I really appreciate it. Let me know how you guys enjoyed this kind of format, just talking to an expert who knows far more than I do, but that's why I'm smart, is that I use her.
Thank you, Jody.
I would be remiss if I didn't say a huge thank you to Sonia May, who this is her listing that she let us tape this in. The address is 1023 Augustine Trail in Cary, North Carolina. I'm going to give you a couple of shots of the indoors, and if you're interested in seeing this house, I'll put the link in the description below, and I'm happy to come back and show you. Thank you, Sonia.